holistic idea about the infrastructure, software development lifecycle, then you go move forward to how to secure those pipelines. So DevSecOps, you are going to learn more about security on CI/CD pipeline. In our DevOps class, you are going to learn how to build and operate the CI/CD pipeline.
Okay, thank you.
Now, it is based on your previous experience. If in your any of your prior project, if you work with DevOps CI/CD pipeline, then DevOps class is not. You don't need DevOps prerequisites. You can directly join our cybersecurity classes. But you are not at all IT engineers. You are, try to migrate from different things, and we have a n number of success stories. I can tell day long about those our old students who have, migrate from hospitality industry, educational industry, retail industry, and successfully landed the job. Some have already landed, some are few of them already on the process, and they are right now, facing the interview, and they are many of them are already clear, like stuck with the final round of interview. I think one of them is also here. Silas is also here. So um, it is not about where you have started; it is about where you want to end. Yeah, Michael.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Um, I have a question about someone coming from cybersecurity um, profession. So, based on the American market where cybersecurity is integrated into most of the colleges, so
Mm-hmm,
it's hard to get into entry roles. So
mm-hmm,
I'm thinking of going into DevSecOps
mm-hmm.
to upscale my probably I can use that as heuristic over the people doing cybersecurity in the college. So I want to know, are you guys on Azure? Are you guys using Azure platform for your DevSecOps, or it's something you can work with any cloud provider like AWS and GCP?
So if you, I think Mr. Karthik is the best person, or Mr. Devash is the best person who can answer. So now for cloud security, I'm just giving a synopsis, then that's a brief, and they can correct me if I'm going somewhere wrong. So cloud security, you can use any security part. Now Azure have a different component called Azure DevOps, which will allow you to create the CI/CD pipeline inside the cloud infrastructure. Okay. So, and it is right now having a good traction in the market. I'm giving an example. In DevOps classes, we have completed so far now 44 batches. It is 2 months long. Okay. So until DSA 42, we used to teach GitLab for CI/CD pipeline. Then we replace with Azure DevOps, because Azure DevOps is we cannot avoid anymore as a primary skill for DevOps. Now, while you are in DevSecOps training, you are going to learn about the CI/CD pipelines security. It doesn't matter where it is hosted. It may hosted in Jenkins, it may hosted in GitLab, it may hosted in Azure. Make sense? Mr. Karthik, would you like to, or Mr. Devash, would you like to add any points on that? Because this is very, very important question.
Yeah, so when it comes to DevSecOps, sorry, can you hear me? Yeah,
Yeah, we
from a
can.
DevSecOps perspective, the different components out there, right? So we do run a CI/CD pipeline, but is more specific to there's a different components from security perspective, that is SaaS, DAST, and SCA, and image scanning perspective that we're looking in that scenario out there. We do one of them is in the Jenkins perspective and one from Azure perspective as well, right? But we do a lot of preliminary to that part itself, because when you find any vulnerabilities in the DevSecOps perspective, you should be able to understand what that is happening out there, right? For you to be able to do that part, we'll talk about Linux security as well as web application security, where it will add to that component of it. But if you're someone who is not aware of CI/CD pipeline before, then directly coming to DevSecOps, it may not, you may not have the sufficient skill set to pick up from that particular perspective, right? So you might have to do the DevOps course and then take on the DevSecOps course for that part, is what I would suggest. because the amount of wide variety of topics that we cover in security, because the topics that we do, you are able to apply for multiple job roles, right? I mean, it's not that one single role, job role you're working on. You're working as a security engineer, cloud security engineer, web application pen tester, security architect, security manager. There are quite variety of job roles you're applying out there. So we don't start at a basic level in a DevSecOps course, right? You need to have some amount of understanding of Linux, and again, you need to have some level of understanding of how the DevOps CI/CD pipeline works, how the project is built, and things on that. Once you have that understanding, it makes more sense, right? We do cover a bit of medium and advanced level topics, but if you're someone who are not aware of operations perspective, then probably I would suggest start with DevOps and then come to DevSecOps. Hope it answered your question.
Yeah,
I would
thank you. But what I'm still saying is the DevOps, is it,
Hmm.
are you guys using Azure DevOps as a platform?
Yes.
And
Yes.
is it integrated with the security, like while the training is going on, is there going to be a way of integrating security into it, or the DevSecOps have to be a different class entirely?
Yeah, DevSecOps is the entire class differently, right? For in DevOps, what Debasis is taking, you will you will see how to implement Kubernetes Terraforms at the Azure level out there. But when you come to DevSecOps, is a course where we'll talk about. At the moment, we don't talk about Kubernetes, but we talk about using different security tools in the CI/CD pipeline. But there are two different components. You're not having a single course, just go for the DevOps part, and where you look at CI/CD, they'll talk about CI/CD pipeline. In the same course, we don't talk about security as well. They're two different courses. Am I right,
Thank you.
Kamana?
Thank you so
so
much.
Michael, nutshell, we do have
Yeah,
two
to
different.
add to that,
Yeah.
yes, Michael, your question was whether when we learn about Azure DevOps as a CI/CD pipeline hosted over Azure platform, whether we also incorporate few of the security features. Yes, we do it at the DevOps level. So when we are integrating those resources of we do the various integration of the various DevOps tools onto the pipeline. We definitely do some sort of security implementation at that level. But yes, when you say that overall, whether my pipeline and has been securely uh, built on to the cloud platform, that is, we are taking care of the cloud security as well as the pipeline security, which is the same thing. So we do it in a broader sense of the term. So you have to know on a low level how you implement the security, and on a high level how to inbuilt all those tools to implement that particular level of security that is required, and in an enterprise level. Okay,
So
did I
here
answer your question?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
I would like to add one more point, okay, if you don't mind. We do have two classes. One, the starting point will be your DevOps, if you're not at all aware of DevOps, okay, where we are going to learn about the infrastructure, like building a house kind of thing. And our DevSecOps classes, you're going to learn how to secure your house or your pipeline. Yeah, Benny, I'm sorry. Please ask your question. Please go ahead.
Okay. Are you hearing me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Thank you for the clarification. I got some ideas when you guys talking about. So I was searching who's gonna give the DevOps class, and I'm really lucky to get you guys. Um, so my problem is how I'm gonna join the class, which is started on next Friday. And is there any specific fees for that service, or what should I do? I don't have any idea about that.
So first thing first, you need to okay, because it is we are now, why it is the first step of your success, because many of the things which is not direct like does not comes under DevOps curriculum, like or DevOps, but it without those skill set you cannot become a successful DevOps or cybersecurity engineer. One of them is Linux. A second is your some cloud ideas or expertise. So our DevOps classes start with Linux because that is a fundamental. Then go for cloud. Then we move forward with cloud. Then next 1 month and 1 weeks we go for the DevOps toolset, or all the small tools of about DevOps like Docker, Kubernetes, Terraform, Ansible, Git, Azure DevOps. Azure DevOps is our newest tools, which is was rep- it was it replaced the our previous tools, that GitLab. Uh, Now this is the whole DevOps tools. So I just ping in our WhatsApp group, so I can send you, or we can send you the course curriculum, about the timing, about the pricing, and everything you will find over there. Which time zone you are in?
My time zone.
Hmm.
It's mountain time.
Okay, so it will be good time for you. Yeah, I think 6:30 p.m. CST.
Yeah.
So just ping. Do you have our WhatsApp link?
Yeah. Somebody has invited me, and I just got uh, included in the group.
Okay.
That's a good part, and
I have shared the link as well. Just if you missed, just join over there. We do have many links. Some of for internship, the joining, understanding the roadmap. For that, we have a one group. We do have a separate group for paid training. We have a, separate group for which students, after complete your training, you if you join, if you are looking for job, we do have a separate training where our mentors is guide you to how to find those jobs easily. So we do have a main various groups. So make sure which group you are in.
okay, that's awesome. Thank you very much. And
Most welcome.
uh, I wanted just to make sure that I'm on the right track
Yeah.
because um, I, I have no jobs right now, but I've graduated from networking and security,
Okay.
and I have a CCNA certificates, and I'm going to join the because the CCNA certification doesn't have any jobs in here,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to switch to DevOps. I have some clues about the Linux and stuff, um,
Mm-hmm.
uh, but I'm not exactly sure to join the preparation class, which is the DevOps, which is the Linux part and stuff, and I have to transfer to the DevSec and stuff, right?
Yes,
So
DevSecOps is the why DevSecOps came in the picture in the first place. So many company, while after Netflix successfully showcased the whole world that if you automate your software development life cycle, it will improve your productivity, couple of fold, like 10 times. Okay, then many of small mid-scale enterprise level company, they try to move for automation, DevOps automations. And while they switch from their monolithic to this agile methodology, they compromise some of their security protocols, because at that moment I'm talking about 2019, 18, 20, late 2020. Then these DevSecOps came in the picture. So okay, you have done your automation in your software development cycle, good, but what about your security? Did you follow the industry rules and guidelines? No. So now DevSecOps is a separate domain or job role created. If you, and the most why we always push our students, even they are non-IT people, for DevSecOps, because it is easier to get the job. If you go to LinkedIn, try to find a DevSecOps position, you will find the positions are open for last 4 or 5 months. Even you will find some position they reposted. You can find the one position open for 3 weeks, and maybe they got less than 100 applicant. But go for any other job positions. Okay, data science, sorry, not data science, data analytics, development, testing, and any, just name it. You will find within a 1 day there are more than 100 applicant applied. So here demand is
Yeah.
good, supply or applicant number is less compared to others. Make sense?
Yeah. Awesome. Uh,
We do have a 2 hours free
yeah.
session for now. Mr. Devash is going to start. It is like a miniature version of your DevOps classes. I
Okay.
if you have time, try to attend.
Yeah. Cool. How can I follow you? Like, what is the next step to register into the class?
You
Are you
just
gonna send a link for me?
yeah, you just say hi over there. I will send you the link in the group.
Okay. I said hi. That's a Kelly internship.
Yeah, I got. We can see it.
Got it.
Well, I'm going to send you the link, and all of those upcoming class course details and everything for call off for the registration. We are going to share in the group, so you are not going to miss. Don't worry.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Most welcome. Any other question, or we should start with our DevOps session now?
Sorry, I have a little question. I won't spend more time on it. I live in Lagos, Nigeria. What are the prospects of getting a remote job, say in the US, in Canada, or in Europe after having completed? I intend to take both courses, though I've taken a lot of courses. I'm an IT person in multiple IT fields. So assuming I'd say I take DevOps now and later cybersecurity and DevSecOps. What are the prospects?
So here
Uh,
is the thing. I cannot tell you or misguide you because I want to sell or want you to enroll our training. So you need to understand. Training is for your skill upgradement. But to get the job,
sure.
you need two things. One is skill, another is work authorization.
Okay,
If you
work
are,
authorization.
yes, so most of the US job, and Canadian job, they are strictly followed these regulations. You can only get the remote position either two ways. If you are connected with any big MNCs where they have the office in Nigeria, or
Okay, okay.
from
Uh,
in any freelancing platform. But
okay, okay.
if you apply directly for any company in US, then you need to make it sure that they are ready to sponsor you.
Okay, okay.
So
Thank you a lot. It's very
sponsorship is comes with three different visas: O1 visa, H1B visa, L1 visa. H1s open once in a year, L1 and O1 can open anytime. So you just need to, find out. You will find a sponsorship company for particular DevSecOps because this is very rare skill in US job market as well. Then you will have got a list that the the battle will not be easy for you compared to the people who are right now in US because they don't care about the job authorization part. They are already US. They have I'm assuming they have a valid job authorizations if they are in
okay.
green card or citizenship. But for you,
Okay,
it will be a little bit tough battle because you need to
okay,
prove that your skill set is top notch. For that, our training may help, definitely going to help you. And the same time, you need to showcase that yes, you are eager to come in US or remote positions. So you want to work for remote positions, go for Nigerian based MNCs. First 1 or 2 years work for there, then go come back or come US, or try to find
okay.
some sponsored company.
Or remote platforms.
Remote platform means you are talking about freelancing, like upskill.
Freelancing.
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
but
no,
you
no.
can go direct for their payroll if they are willing to sponsor your visa.
Okay, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, sir. It's very candid, very sincere. Thanks a lot.
Most welcome. We are here to guide you because there are lots and lots of organization training, special training institute. They are here to misguide. Okay, you do the training, I will give you 100% job authority. How come? because job is nothing but like a business handshake. There are some many other, metrics you need to fulfill, right?
Yeah, sure, sure.
Okay. Any other question,
Hello.
or should we start?
Thank you very much.
Hello.
You answered all of the questions.
Yeah,
Hello.
yeah, Joel.
This just I want to know regarding the course, which course I'm going to take. I'm really confusing myself. So, I'm as a SQL DBA. I've been in
Uh-huh.
industry almost 9 years, and
Mm-hmm.
SQL DBA role is try to isolate it, and I haven't seen many jobs in the USA as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to switch my SQL to other platforms. So what's your suggestion to taking this one of this course I can go for, since I
So,
have SQL DBA experience?
so now I am telling you something. Maybe you'd like it. You're not going to like it. SQL or any database related job is going to be, I know, every now and then the demand will be reduced, right?
Yeah.
You'll more days you will pass, you will find lesser or scarcity on the job. So
Mm-hmm.
you need to find a job where the trendy field. One is data science with AI. It is just started, is booming. Another one is DevSecOps. Now always try to get prepared or ready for a domain specific role, not a tool specific role. Because tools today we do have a one tool, tomorrow it may replace with other better tool, right? So always try to you have a 10 years experience, you have a like I don't need to it is like tell you how the IT market operates. You are well aware of that.
Mm-hmm.
But my suggestion will be try to prepare the job yourself if you are migrating from SQL DBA to any other positions. Go for domain specific positions, not for tool specific. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So
So what technology is involved? Because I missed some of the lecture. I'm pretty much familiar with all the technology, but as I working in IT industry, I have seen a lot of technologies in my life. So, as a DevOps circle, whatever you're saying that what technology involved, it's pretty much similar. I'm familiar. I work in Azure Cloud infrastructure,
mhm,
SQL, Microsoft SQL, all
mhm,
the server, new edition, old edition,
mhm.
as well as PowerShell scripting. I have
Oh,
worked as well.
okay.
So, and I graduated in computer science, so I have knowledge of shell scripting,
Linux
and
as well.
Linux, yeah. And
Then you
okay,
go
in that,
directly. You should go. What about your coding experience in Python
no,
language?
I'm because of coding, I'm not good at that, but I'm basically managing and supporting production supporting skill. I have that,
So then
which
go
is
for cybersecurity, because that is
cybersecurity.
yeah. Because if you have a coding knack, data science and AI will be your next things. But if you are more about rather than operation, more about managing stuff, then go for
Yeah,
cybersecurity. You don't need the DevOps classes because you are aware of Linux and cloud. So that's
yeah.
the
Yeah,
two
but
fundamental.
Menon, my concern is, because we have already worked on one or two candidates who come from database, who come directly to DevSecOps, but they do struggle. They will be repeating certain components which they already know in DevOps. But from the DevOps CI/CD pipeline perspective, when they come directly to DevSecOps, they will struggle out there. Probably doing that component DevSecOps, even though the DevOps they can do and then come to DevSecOps, I think probably they will be able to better, utilize the services in what we do in DevSecOps. I think so.
So it is again, Joel, it is based on
Yeah.
your timeline. If you have a job and you want to move slowly but steadily, then as Mr. Karthik says, go with the DevOps, understand all the software development lifecycle, agile methodology, and all the pipelines and their components. Once you understood that, then you can go for DevSecOps. But if you have a time scarcity and you want to do, go for right now, maybe I can understand. Then you need to, put little bit more effort on your cybersecurity if you go directly in cybersecurity of our classes.
So DevOps also is a lot of I've seen that a lot of scripting is automation is involved. So a
Yes.
lot of tools is there as well.
So you
So
can you can do the automation through two way, through their CLI or their portal. If you go through their CLI, then you need to go with all those script. You can write Bash, Shell, Groovy, Rust. There are so many scripting Java things is there, but that is only 10% of DevOps people are working. And for that, there are a good number of libraries are also available. Terraform have their own library which you can use. It will be a cake of work for you because it is not anything new you are going to learn. It is how the things organized over there. You just need to learn that part.
so security as cyber security also coding involved
No,
once comes up.
there is
No?
no coding. You know the scripting. Scripting is not at all
Yeah,
coding, right?
coding, yeah. So scripting is involved as well in cyber security.
Very rare.
But
I think Mr.
yeah.
Karthik is the one who is, every day breathing on the cybersecurity domain. So he can tell what is the percentage of,
No,
scripting and
not much scripting or coding perspective. Only part of coding where it will help you if you are coming from a coding background. For me, especially when you will do the web application pen testing, probably that will be a bit more easier for you from others because you know how the application process works and how the data is moving around and things. So, but from coding perspective, there's not much coding we do. There's not much.
Yeah.
It's not
So
required.
I listened to Mr. Ketki, how do you pronounce the last name, who are trained to the cybersecurity?
Karthik.
Karthik. Karthik,
Yeah.
what about you discuss about because I haven't attended a full session, but middle of the session I listen. And what about your thought about that discussion about that? I pretty much familiar with that. I'm knowledge of that cloud infrastructure, whatever you say. But my question to you, that's confusing me. DevOps is going to be better option? No.
See, again, it depends on the job role you're going to apply for, right? Since you've
Mhm.
already worked on cloud environment, since you already worked on in the process like that, so you're telling about you're having about almost a decade of work experience, right? So what
Yeah.
are the job roles that you're looking at? Is someone at a security level manager or an architect? And we also see certain job openings for security director position with 7 or 8 years of experience in things like that. So from that perspective, right, if you're for different components that you're doing out there, directly doing your DevSecOps makes very good response out there, right? Where you go in as an organization, either you're going to manage or going to build a security team in that organization out there and do everything out there. In, but you will find it little bit difficult for one particular role if you directly come down to DevSecOps. That is the DevSecOps role itself, right? DevSecOps role, we might need to have little bit more understanding of the underlying technology like Terraform, Kubernetes, and things and all. That is going to be there, right? So, but if you can figure it out, the basics of CI/CD pipeline on your own, since you're already coming in from computer science degree and things like that, then probably starting with DevSecOps makes more sense, is what I feel.
So
Right.
here, if you don't mind, we are lucky enough that we do have one fellow in this meeting who have done our DevOps classes and cybersecurity classes, and he is right now in the job market. So he can give you the right because
Yeah.
we are seeing from still we are seeing from inside, but little bit outside. So Selasi, can you guide us? Selasi, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
So can
Yeah.
you tell like what is the importance for the from your honest overview, because we also need the guidance. You've done our DevOps classes, you've done our cybersecurity classes. Now you're looking for DevSecOps job role, and you have attempted many interviews last 2 months with our consulting firm. Now you many of the interview you have cracked so far now. So what is your point? How in every DevSecOps position, what is the percentage of DevOps question is involved?
Um, from what I see, when it comes to the DevOps, more and more is going towards merging DevOps with security. So securing the pipeline and they, it's almost like they want the two in one role. So
Yes.
that's what I'm beginning to see more and more of. So security, having that security side with the DevOps knowledge, it, depending on firm to firm, it would tell how far into a scope of cybersecurity you go on one side, or maybe on another side, how far into DevOps you go. But you definitely need the two.
Uh, Jewel, I think
Yes.
he's the best one who is in the right now standing in the front row. So
Okay.
so
I can.
why DevSecOps? Because again, it is easier to get the job. The market demand and supply is not yet match. There are lots and lots of demand, but very less number of DevSecOps people in the market.
So, in if indeed dies job portal, what
Hmm.
was the job title would be? Dev
DevSecOps, you can search
or
DevSecOps. So you'll find the jobs are open for last couple of maybe 3-4 months and still not yet filled. And you can find a 1 week that some new job is
so
opened, but
most of job is remotely, no, just in person, different states.
uh, many job still you'll find little bit better remote positions compared to other field.
Okay, no
Okay.
problem.
Any
So,
other question?
no,
Or
thank you very much for your timing and give me the best answer. I
most
appreciate
welcome.
it. And okay, and so I will follow up, huh?
Sure, sure.
Yeah, Kerry, one more question I have.
Mr.
It's
Devashish
Benny.
will kill me. Yeah, please, Henry. Who is asking?
Benjamin Saski.
Hey, Beniam. Yeah, please go ahead.
So I'm waiting some messages appeared on my
Yeah,
computer
yeah,
waiting for administration approval, just to let you know.
sure. Any other question, guys? Henry, are you trying to say something?
No, I don't think so. I think his mic is on.
Hmm. Okay. Sorry, Mr. Devashish. I put the classes for little hold, and I think we can start for our today's session for DevOps.
Yes.
Jewel, it will help you. Beniam, it will help you to understand how to will if you join only for DevOps, what will be your job role and what will be day-to-day activities.
Thank you,
Okay.
guys. Sorry, Debasis sir. I think we took more of your time today as usual. I will try to. Thanks. And guys, please stay out for DevOps class session. It's really insightful and much more practical hands-on than what we see in DevSecOps. Don't miss it out on that part. Yeah. Thank you, guys. Thanks.
Thank you, Karthik. Thank you, Mr. Menon. Actually, these discussions are very important than to go into the technical details of any particular topic. So I always value this particular part of the discussion. So there is no way that we should be avoiding these discussions. We are encouraging these discussions for all. Okay. Even during the session, if there is any question related to job or how DevOps fits in or how much it does not fit in, so you please raise your questions. Questions, please. Okay. You can unmute yourself and raise your questions. So it is a very healthy discussion, and that is actually the motivation for this sort of internship programs. Also, we need to understand where we stand and where we need to go. So I will start my session today. If everyone is fine, I will I will start the recording first. Okay, the recording has started. I will share the screen. Please let me know if you are being able to see the screen.
Yeah, we can.
As well as I will go back and open the camera. Okay, so I will come back. Are you being able to see the screen? We are starting a topic called Ansible. Ansible is one very important configuration management tool, which we generally use in the CI/CD pipeline. So if somebody is joining new, we have already covered few of the topics in DevOps, which is we have introduced DevOps in the very first session. Then we went to cloud, that is AWS Cloud. We have spent 2 sessions over cloud. Okay. All these recordings are available in our YouTube channel, and we have been sharing each and every weekend sessions and the recordings in that group. So, and in the playlists are all available in our YouTube channel, and those YouTube channel and everything you will be able to find it over the your this thing, that is in our training site. Okay. So the next 2 sessions after the cloud, we have devoted over Terraform, where we had a theoretical background on Terraform, and then we used a small demo to see what the magic behind. How do we use, instead of using the proprietary level cloud formation over AWS, we are using Terraform. So how automatically from outside we have seen how we could provision our resources over the cloud. Now, after we have created our house, let's say we have created our building, our home over onto the cloud, okay, in a very good region, or whatever you can say, in a very good locality, very good area. Now, what is your second most important priority? You have secured your house, you have given your security groups, and you have created your firewalls, you have created your authentications and all sorts of security enablement. You have enabled the security, the part which will actually secure your resource over the cloud. That part you have already done. Now, what is the next possible step that you can think of? What will you do once you get your house with a secured fencing or a firewall? What is the next step that you are going to do? Can anybody just give me a real life thought about it? What I am asking is, you have created your house or a resource over a cloud through Terraform, through some external tool which will help you to create your resources over the cloud without accessing the, just 1 hour back, Mr. Karthik was saying about the control plane, that is the management plane, where if you have an access to that console or management plane, then you can create your resources, you can destroy the resources, you can do havoc. That is not a very good security option. But yes, let's say I have another option, that with all the security things in place and authentication and authorization, I had built my house over the cloud, or rather a server, I can say server, an EC2 instance or a cloud computing server over onto the cloud through some, without accessing that management plane, that is from outside, with appropriate access. I can do that. Okay, and we have done that. We have built that particular server. Now, you tell me, what is the next thing that you can think of as a step.
Securing it.
Security part, you have already done the firewalls, you have done the authentication, you have created the key pairs such that you were and your security credentials are embedded within the AWS CLI. So you will never be allowed to go directly to the AWS Cloud to create your resources. So all these things you have already done. That phase is already over. So now with the blueprint, now with the authority authentication given by the government of any country, that you are being able to procure a land and create your house. That is the normal process that you have done, and that Terraform is your tool to do that. You have done that. That phase is already done. Now, what is the next step that you can think of before you enter the house? What will you do?
Furnish the house.
Polish the
Furnish it.
Furnish the house. Furnish.
Yes.
Yes, that is the next important thing. That means you have got a beautiful house, but that is only the concrete part, the structure you have got. Now you have to make it habitable, isn't it? So you do some interior decorations, some configurations, do some changes, minor changes from here to, which can entirely change the outlook of the house. That is what we are going to achieve with another tool called Ansible, which will now, the infrastructure is already built, the network, the supporting firewall, the supporting security, the supporting infrastructure that you have built over for creating the operating system, the key pair, the hard disk. Okay, everything has been built for the server. Now you are being able to access the server, but it's an empty server. You need to put in some good softwares, isn't it? You have to install few softwares, you have to configure few things such that you are now being able to utilize that particular infrastructure. Much so that is some configuration management tool should be there in your life cycle. Okay, and that is what we are going to learn in our Ansible. Okay, any questions? So we will learn about Ansible, like we will introduce, we will know about the Ansible architecture, Ansible components. Okay, because Ansible is a configuration management tool. So you will configure on the infrastructure that you have just now built. So you need some access to your hosts. You will create on that particular server. You will access the inventory to go to this endpoint, which is the host. You will do the configuration. You will create playbooks. Playbooks, like somebody was asking about, see, everything is like you are doing some coding of the infrastructure. That is called infrastructure as a code. You are trying to make the infrastructure flexible, and you will declare what you want. So you will write small scripts which are given by either HashiCorp for Terraform, or from Ansible. So Ansible, these are like you don't have to know coding. Absolutely no. Okay, you do not need to learn know Java, Python, C hash, any Go, nothing. You do not need to. These are not programming languages. These are small code modules which will be provided by the particular tool, so that you can create your playbook or instructions that you need to make to enable whatever you want. What is more important than how? You do not need to worry about the how, because the how part has been taken care by the tool itself. Okay, you just need to instruct what you want. What is the configuration that you want to do? And you will see that most of the things are already built for you, and those are called modules. So Ansible will produce the modules. Like you want to copy a file from a source to the destination. Will you write a code? You can write a code, but no need. That's why you use a configuration management tool called Ansible. So Ansible will produce or provide you with the modules. Okay, so it will give you the modules. The modules are code snippets already built, code snippets, whatever, I think SNIPETTES, whatever it is. And the code snippets are small modules which are already built in programs or library, which you will call through Ansible, and that call will make an API call that will produce an API call to the cloud to create or configure your server or the resource. The resources which have been built by whom? By Terraform. Terraform has created those resources over the cloud with all security inbuilt on a basic level, on the the ground level. Security has been implemented with those resources, and after that you will do the configuration through Ansible, and those configurations are aided with the Ansible modules. A lots of around 750 plus modules are already inbuilt. And on top of that, if you want to create your custom modules, you can create. Those are the things that we are going to learn in our job ready trainings. It is our scope is very limited when I am using this internship trainings or internship sessions. It is very difficult for you to or me to make you understand of these modules, or if you want to customize this module. But here we will use the whatever need is there, it will be catered with more than 750 modules, so you can think of anything you want to copy, you want to move, you want to remove, you want to modify, basically whatever you have the CRUD applications, the CRUD operations. Create, you want to create anything, you want to read anything, resources, you want to update, whatever you do in a database, and you want to delete. All these things are fine, or you can do with the modules that are inbuilt within that. So we will also be using variables and interpolation. Interpolation is the values that you have within the variables that you store within the variables. These variables are nothing but the storage, memory storage. In the memory, in the internal memory, you will create some variables. Okay, and the variables will have values. How will you get those values from the variables? You will interpolate. You will interpolate or extract the values from those variables. This can also be done like in any programming languages. You do all these things, but here you will do it very, very easily because it is all there within the Ansible scripts. You will also learn to use Ansible roles, but these are definitely we are going to use it in a very detailed manner in our job ready trainings. Okay. Ansible Galaxy, that is a tool which will help you to create the structure of the Ansible role. Ansible board, somebody was asking about whether you do some security implementation with the tools that you implement on the CI/CD pipeline. Now, yes, like for this is one of the tools within Ansible that will create, so you can create an Ansible vault to store your secrets. That is all the security keys, credentials, passwords, passcodes, whatever you see, you can safely put it into Ansible, or you want to encrypt your Ansible code, the code, something which is as a text or some YAML files, you create the YAML files, but those are also text files which can be easily read by someone from outside. Why to give them the code access? So why don't you encrypt them? Encrypt the entire coding structure that you have built, and you can put them into the vault. Vault is, about in the bank, you will have the vaults. Similarly, think of a software, the tool is giving you the protection of all your secrets, even your code. You can encrypt them and put it into a vault. Whenever you want to use them, decrypt them and use it. So coding and encoding, encoding and decoding, everything happens within the vault. So in our hands-on, if there is enough time today, or maybe we can do it on the next day, that is, we will do a small demo. Okay. That how we can create our we can create the configurations over the hosts. We can call those hosts, and from the main server we can control whatever we need over those hosts. So this is your server, and these are the hosts scattered all over the world. So this is one host, this is another host, okay, another host. It can be anywhere in this world. And what you do, you will configure through the Ansible. Ansible is over here. You do not need to create Ansible agents anywhere else. Only that you have to ensure that you have Python, because Ansible works on Python. So Python should be, you have to ensure, and there is a mechanism. Ansible will give you that, gather the information, whether in this host, the nodes, whether you have the Python or not. If not, it will give back a response that you need to. And Ansible, through the Ansible, you will install Python over there. So you have to ensure the Python is available all over the nodes. The rest, everything will be done, taken care by Ansible to connect it and all those things. That is what we want to install and configure our slaves. These are called slaves. This is the master. This is the master, and these are the slaves. Okay, these are all slaves. This is the master. Any question? You do not need Ansible anywhere on the host. That is one of the biggest advantage. There is a competitor called Chef, which is a competitor of Ansible, but Chef is nowadays quite below in the market position with respect to Ansible. Ansible is so popular, and the learning curve is so small that many people learn Ansible with respect to Chef. Chef is very difficult to learn, not difficult to learn, but you need much more time. You have to, the learning curve is very steep, as well as this is like, these are loosely coupled. But here in Chef, you have to put them into a cluster. And to maintain a cluster is not very simple, because you have to have the Chef agents running on each and every node in that cluster. This is going to cost. The architecture is costly when you go through Chef. Whereas with Ansible, you do not need to. There is no cluster concept. That is why it is so simple to implement. The architecture is very, very simple and very easy to learn. And we will do this. We will configure an Apache web server over onto any host, and we will customize the welcome page of Apache. These are the things that, see, These are that installation. These are all part configuration and customization. These are all part of what you say as configuration. Are you building any infrastructure? No, you are not building an infrastructure. This server is already created for you. This host is already there, already created by Terraform. So you just need, the house is there. You are doing the interior decoration. Is that concept more or less there? Any question? So why we learn Ansible? What is the history of Ansible? How Ansible works? Ansible architecture. So what is Ansible? We have already discussed that. Ansible is an automation and orchestration tool, popular for its simplicity of installation, ease of use in what concerns the connectivity to the clients, its lack of agent for Ansible clients, and the multitude of skills. That means you do not need to create an architecture which is cluster based, because you do not have to have the Ansible clients. That makes the architecture very simple and easy. Connectivity to the clients is very simple because it is based on SSH. You know SSH. Okay. SSH is the part of Open SSH toolkit. So SSH is a TCP/IP based protocol. Okay. Which will help you to connect from one server to the other server, or one machine to the other machine. That is simply, protocol means what? Protocol is the guidelines. So that guideline will help you to guide the endpoint. That means you will reach the endpoint using that guidelines of SSH. So Ansible functions by connecting via SSH to the clients. So it doesn't need a special agent on the client side. So therefore, unlike Chef, it does not need any special agent to be polled. The agent do not have to poll every now and then, every few seconds to the server. And that polling is a resource intensive process. Okay, this part is not at all there in your Ansible. Therefore, these are very important considerations when you think of an architecture. How easy the architecture is to be implemented. Whether it is going to be maintained? No, there is no maintenance cost because you are not building any cluster. And side by side, you are pushing the modules to the client. So it's a push module. Unlike Ansible is based on push modules. Ansible does the push module is based on the push model, whereas Chef is on the pull model. Now, can anybody tell me the advantage of push versus pull? You are pushing to the edge, you are pushing to the host. Whereas to Chef to function, it has to pull from the host. So pull is costly because here it is a single activity. Here there is, to do one configuration, you have to do two activities. And these activities have to be in sync because these are in a cluster. The host and the master is in a cluster. The master, before it needs to do any configuration over the host, it has to pull. That means it will have to pull the agent. The agent has to be triggered to let that particular job be deployed over onto the host. So instead of having a push module, why do we have to pull and then push? Not needed. But here, but in Chef, it is needed. So we will discard. We will not go for this. And most of the companies are discarding Chef. They find the difficulty. They find that it is getting costlier to maintain this particular architecture, whereas Ansible is easier to maintain, and it is very cost effective. Since it uses SSH, it can easily connect to the clients having the SSH keys. We will see that in the demo. How easy to connect. Simplifying though the whole process, client details like hostname and IP addresses, SSH ports, and stored like inventory files. So inventory file is a very important component of Ansible, you know. So all these connectivity informations are available to Ansible through the inventory files. Once you have created an inventory file and populated it, Ansible can use it. Simple. So Ansible is an open source configuration management tool. Why open source? It is because you do not need to pay a single cent to learn this particular tool, and you can use this particular tool. There is no license fees. There is no license fees to procure. Okay. Used for configuration management that we have already learned, can solve a wide range of automation challenges. Yes, yes, yes. It is very important. All the lifecycle challenges for automation can be resolved using Ansible as a tool. Written by Michael Dehan. Michael Dehan is the person who has invented Ansible. And no need. Okay. Now Ansible was acquired by Red Hat in 2000 because of the popularity. You know, Red Hat is one of the leading Linux platforms. So Red Hat understood the importance of Ansible. So Ansible was taken over by Red Hat. So if I ask you, who is the owner of Ansible now? Not Ansible. Who is the owner of Ansible software? Ansible tool? Red Hat. Red Hat is the owner. Now in 2019, something happened. Great thing happened in the software world. Why? IBM acquired Red Hat. Because IBM had their IBM Cloud, but IBM Cloud was not getting a boost. It was lacking the platform. It was providing the software services, but it was not getting the platform services. So it acquired Red Hat. Was always popular, so it had acquired Red Hat. So entire thing, that cloud that it was manifesting over as a competitor with big houses like AWS, Azure, Google Cloud, IBM was lagging behind in that competition. But once in 2019, it had acquired Red Hat. Red Hat agreed to merge with IBM. Then what happened? IBM shoot up as a cloud provider. The market value of IBM as a cloud provider rose just with one strategy of getting Red Hat. And not only getting Red Hat, it has got Ansible along with that, because in 2015, Red Hat had already acquired or merged Ansible with it. So can you see the importance of learning Ansible, or understanding why industry has got Ansible? Why industry has adopted Ansible as a DevOps tool in their DevOps lifecycle, in their project lifecycle. DevOps and Agile are same. Agile is a project management methodology, whereas DevOps is what implements this Agile methodology. That is what we have discussed in our first session. Okay. Therefore, if I say that my project-sized company has to be successful, I need to implement DevOps for automation. Okay. And this tool, this Ansible, is one of the most important tools in that process. Okay. Any question? Why the importance of Ansible? We have already discussed that. Can you see? This is from 2020. Now already almost like 4 years have passed, and the position of chef, which is the red line, has gone down. Means Ansible, the position of Ansible has gone up quite a bit in this 4 years. The Puppet, Salt, Chef, they are all, the Chef is still in the competition, but Puppet and Salt, they are lying in the very bottom in the competition. So that is why we are learning, and in our DevOps course, main course, we have adopted this particular tool for our students to learn. Any question? So the architecture is very simple, it's a simplified view. I can just try to elaborate on that. Okay. When you say this is, you are writing an Ansible playbook. A playbook is like your instruction manual or instruction booklet or a book, and that is called a playbook. You write Ansible script over here, and that scripts are all provided by Ansible. You just have to copy and paste and create a playbook. That's all. You include the modules. You include the modules in this playbook. Okay. Modules in this playbook, and your Ansible playbook will access the inventory. Now, can anybody tell me, just now we have discussed what is the purpose of inventory? The users are going to access, or basically the DevOps guys who have created those playbook are going to implement or execute this Ansible playbook, which will in turn access the modules, access the inventory. Why we have to access the inventory? Without the inventory, how will I reach these hosts? These are the hosts. Host number 1, 2, 3. It can be n number of hosts. N number of hosts. Okay. So I have only one master server. This is the master server on which Ansible has been installed. And with Ansible comes the modules. We will configure the inventory. Inventory will make an API call. Through this, our playbook will access the inventory, understand which host it has to connect, and do the job, configuration job. So it will make an API call. It will also use the plugins. It will also use the plugins, and the plugins will access the network to reach the hosts. So these API calls, these APIs, these plugins, these modules, and of course the inventory. These are all available when we install Ansible over onto our main server or the master server. Is that clear? And how do you access your host? It is, you will write simple playbook. I am saying simple, the playbook can go very complex. That's why we organize the playbook. See, the hierarchy is you write the playbook. Playbook will organize the tasks. Tasks are the job tasks. What are the tasks that you want to do? There can be multiple tasks. Task 1, task 2, task 3. Okay. So all this will be called to the playbook. The task will call the modules. It can call one module or hundreds of modules. Module. It will call the modules, various modules. Or it will call the handler. It will call the notify. Now these we are going to learn in details in our main course. But anyway, the structure is, so a playbook you have written to simplify the tasks. Otherwise, you are going to write the task one after the other. There is no one to control it. So you will create a playbook which can call multiple playbooks, multiple plays. So a playbook can have play. So maybe a play one will call task one and task two. And there is play two. Play two can call task three. So a playbook having two plays, having multiple tasks called from the various plays, and the tasks in turn will call the modules and the inventory and whatever it is. Therefore, to connect to the host and do the configuration job over the host. But again, the playbook can go very complex. You can have two plays or you can have n number of plays. Play n. And so can you believe how many tasks you can? So it can go very complex. You start with a simple playbook, then you can keep on expanding it, enhancing it to a very complex one. Now, this complexity is always in life. I always like to make my life simple. So I will break down this complexity through Ansible roles. So through the roles, I will organize the playbook to break down the complexity of the playbook into much easier way. So a playbook, I will not have so many plays. I will break down, I will have roles, many roles called from one playbook. And those roles now will cater to all the tasks, modules and everything. So I have taken off the load from the playbook. I have created small roles to cater to each individual. So I have modularized. You know, if you are a developer, you will always try to modularize your job in hand. You do not write the entire code in one single file, do you? No. Your file can grow up to 1,000 lines. If you write a code of 1,000 lines, it is not a good programming. I will suggest that if you can break them into say 50 lines per file, which will be easy to maintain, manage, and monitor. Because if there is some problem, some defect, it will be very difficult to debug a 1,000-line code. But if some defect happens in this file, in this particular program, in this particular code file, it will be easier to debug 50 lines rather than debug 1,000 lines, isn't it? Do you agree? This is called modularization. You break down the main file or the main problem into smaller problems. You modularize the entire solution. Okay, that is what you do with the roles. So the structure is you be on the master server, create a playbook. Playbook will in turn call the inventories. And through the inventory, you will end up into your hosts and you will deploy the modules like so many jobs, tasks. You will deploy it over onto this servers and through the SSH, and you have to have the Python over that, and that will be when the SSH will try to make a connection over to the host. It will give a feedback to Ansible saying that whether this particular host is having already Python installed or not. If Python is not there, the further activity will be just truncated or it will be just aborted. So this is the first alarm that rings whenever you try to connect. But if you ensure that each of these nodes or hosts have Python, The connection will be seamless. Gathering of the fact that Python is there will be seamless, and you can deploy those modules through your playbook. Any question? Any question? Sitting in one place, you are basically, let's say you are sitting in US office, and this server is in India. This server is in Japan. This node is in Australia. Okay, and you want to do some installation of maybe Java. You want to install Java or any software from sitting over here, just writing a playbook. You do this and you will end up installing Java on each of these terminals or each of this host. Isn't it quite nice? And before that, you have used Terraform to create these platforms, these nodes scattered all over the world, part of your company. So after Terraform has done its job of creating the nodes, rather provisioning, better to say provisioning of those nodes over onto the various, these are all on the cloud, but you have created them into various regions and wherever you wanted. Okay, and after that, in one shot, in one playbook, you were being able to deploy all the necessary softwares that you want to upgrade or install, or you want to package, you want to do so many things, so many configuration activities over onto those servers. Is that fine? Just you need to write one playbook. Any question you might have? So the same, you will use the inventory. Inventory will help you to, because that inventory file will have a list of hosts. I will show you in the practical demonstration. And those are the hosts where your playbook tasks will be operated, will be deployed. You will write playbook. That is one of the components of Ansible. Okay, where you will describe the tasks to be executed. You will write in a very simple language provided by Ansible. Playbooks are like instruction manuals. As I told you, you say what you want to do. Whether you want to install Java, whether you want to install Apache web server or an application server, or you want to upgrade the version, or you want to remove some software, or you want to read some configuration into your, into your monitoring. You are monitoring something and you want to check whether this is available or not. If not, then you install it. So all these configuration activities are like instruction manuals that you put into your playbook. Okay. Now, as I told you, the modules are like tools, small tools within the Ansible tool. Tools means some programming modules. So it is already inbuilt for you. Like you want to move a file from your source to the destination, or you want to copy a file from your source to the destination. Destination means the host. Okay, so you build that particular file into your master server, and then you copy into hundreds of the hosts in one shot. So you will take the help of a copy module. So the module name is copy. There are hundreds, as I told you, there are more than 750 modules, out of which one is copy. Other one is, Linux. So you have the Red Hat Yum package module, or you have used Ubuntu. So the package manager apt comes as a module. So if you are installing some softwares over a Linux server, which is an Ubuntu server, so the host is an Ubuntu server, you want to use the app module to install, upgrade, or remove. These are the things that you can do with a package manager called apt, upgrade or remove. You can do this much. Okay, so you will use the app module. You do not have to write the raw code. So the code is like that whenever you are doing raw. So you can give a sudo apt install. When you are doing it over the Ubuntu, you are using an app package module, okay, package manager, and you are installing Apache. So you are saying Apache 2 minus y. So you are installing a software called Apache over into this server directly using a raw command, a CLI command of Linux over Ubuntu. But this thing, you can do it over Ansible. Just use the app module. You do not have to write this command. This command will be internally converted through Ansible. So app module knows what it needs to do. You have to give just the parameters because it's a YAML file. You will give the parameters, whether what is the state. So you will say the state is Apache 2, and you can give it latest version of Apache 2 you want to install. So your app module, you will say apt colon, under that is state, and whatever update cache, you will say yes. So it will update the repository. So these are not programming language. These are things that are coming. You have to know it. That's all. Very, very simple. If you know it, this becomes very simple. So configuration and the host files, you have understood. I think it can control the resources like services, packages, etc. There are almost like over 750 core modules. It will also allow you to do your custom module. You can create your own module if you have something which is not catered by 750. But I do not think you can think of anything which is outside these 750 core modules. So you do not never need to create your custom module mostly. So where are your configuration and the host files? It is under the Ansible host. So when we demo, I will show you this is the inventory file where you will keep your the destination IP address. So the host IP address will be stored over into this file because Ansible needs to access, because Ansible needs to know where it has to deploy the job, in which server. So that server IP address has to be mentioned somewhere, and that is called the host file. That is the inventory file. And if you need to have your own inventory file, let's say you, instead of using the default, you have an inventory file by the name inventory.ini, then you have to mention your host file or the inventory file within the Ansible configuration file. Okay, you will have your customized inventory file. You have to mention where it is there, where and what is the name of the inventory file, because you are not going to use this as the default. Is it getting very difficult for you to understand? I'm not getting any questions. So shall I assume that it is you are not being able to understand? Or it is very simple, that it is very natural, therefore you have no questions. So it is a YAML file. The Ansible playbook that you write is a very it has a YAML format. There is no scope for me to let you know what is a YAML. That is out of scope right now, because it's a very interesting and the most advanced format of writing your scripts in a predefined template called YAML. And Ansible playbooks are written in YAML format. Very simple. The earlier we used to do write all those transaction details in XML files. XML was the only format available for interchange of information over the internet. That was the only format available earlier days. So through this, you will interchange or exchange the data. Data means information over the internet in a very secured way. Now you have YAML. Instead of XML, you have YAML. Yet another markup language. Okay, and that language is based on JSON. JSON is like JavaScript object notation. It is nothing but a key colon value pair. Key is nothing but a variable which will refer to the value. So the value is stored into this key, into this variable. So you will just refer to the key to get access to the value. It is as simple as that. So YAML is nothing but, let's say my name is Debasis Pal. Okay, so can you write a JSON format of my name? I'm not talking about XML. XML will need a lot of tags. Difficult. It's a very complex type of a format. So it is not very much popular with the developers or anyone using XML for an interchange of information. So they have resorted to YAML format, and it's like you are transferring my name or interchanging an information, that exchange of information over the internet, like my name, you are passing that information from one point to the other point. Okay, so how will you pass that information over the net in a JSON format? Let's say the main key is name, and there is an indentation, that is you leave two places. There is a sub key. This is the main key, and the sub key is the first name. First may be underscore name or whatever the camel case. Colon, you give the first name is the value Debasis. So within quotes Debasis. Then you say middle name. Middle name. I do not have a middle name. So what you can do, you can make a null entry. Then the last name. See, it is the key and this is the value. And between that, there is a colon. So key, value. This is the main key. These are the sub keys. These are the properties of the main key. So the last name is PAL. So this is the JSON format that I can pass my information. And where do you have to keep this? You have to keep this in a file with an extension called YAML. That's all. Did you understand that? So I will also give the same sort of instructions over into an Ansible playbook, which is in YAML format using the JSON format. Is there any question? In a very short way, I have explained the term YAML and JSON. JavaScript object notation. These are objects. So this key is an object. In this object, you have this particular reference to this value. So the key first name will have a value called Debasis. When you access the name and within that name, the first name, then you will get the value called Debasis. That is how you exchange the information over the internet in a YAML format. So why I'm saying internet? Because you are writing this is some code, some scripts that is happening in a YAML format with a JSON type of notation that you do, and then you pass that information. You make an API call. The API call is nothing but you are making a call from one system to the other system. Okay, to avail some resources or to manipulate some resources. You make an API call. An API call travels over the internet. So to make your data safe, you have to give in a particular format, and that format is the JSON format over a YAML file. Are you getting me? So whatever API calls that you are making, that is, you are calling a module called copy or APT. You give the instructions as a key value pair over this playbook. Any question? Are there any guys or everyone has left? I'm not sure because I'm not being able to see it. Sorry, is there any question? I just broke off and wanted to understand if there are any questions, because don't worry, it is up to us to extend our sessions. If there is a paucity of time, we can avail the next weekend to expand our knowledge. There is no time frame, there is no time limit, because the whole purpose is to make you aware of something, which is whether this forms part of your goal, whether the academic goal that you want to achieve, or the learning, that whether this falls into your learning path, learning goal. Okay, if you find it too difficult and if this is not the one that you are actually interested in, then definitely there is no point. But at least you have to know, for that, to open up that gate of whether you are fine with this particular domain. That is our purpose. That is the scope of why we take this weekend sessions very, very seriously. Even there is one person with some interest, and we are there for you to help you. No need to worry whether I have completed my session of Ansible today. I will carry on tomorrow, or basically the next weekend. Is that clear? So any questions? Somebody, Mr. Menon, are you asking a question? I think that will be a difficult question for me.
No, I'm not asking. You asked like if anyone is there, so I raised my hand.
Okay. So let me go back. I do not have much time, so I will try to compile within 10 minutes, but I will extend because I have to do the demo. Without a demo, I don't believe there is any utility of this particular knowledge. Okay, so that demo and that whatever the slides will be left today, I will carry on over in the next week. But let's see how much we can go ahead with. So this is the structure of a playbook. You see, the playbook can have multiple plays, and each play can have multiple tasks, and each task can have multiple modules or notify or a handler, as we have described earlier. So this is sort of an organization. You have organized your tasks into a playbook such that it is easier. So if there is some failure into this task, I will know that this was actually from this play, from this playbook. There can be multiple playbooks running in the system. Okay, but this task has failed. So I will know because this task is related to this play and this play is related to this playbook. So I will know which file has failed. This is the way you organize. Okay. We want to create a playbook with 2 plays and 2 tasks and the following tasks. Let me. Yeah. So we have come into inside a playbook. Inside a playbook. I will just take some time for from you to describe what we are trying to achieve. We are writing a playbook. Do you think that this is a programming file? Are you writing any programming like are you writing in shell script, which is the simplest one? Not even shell script. Leave aside Java, Python, and all those things. They are much more structured. They have a lot of, steps. If you want to write a single code of action, you have to write, say, around 30 or 40 lines to just accomplish one simple print. You want to print a single line of something, hello world from Java. So it is not, you cannot write a single line. You have to write at least 20 to 30 lines to follow the structure. But do you see there is any structure? No, it is simply you are giving in sequence. You are saying that my name. So this is the instruction that you give a dash 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 3 dashes. It is a symbol to say that you are writing multiple segments of a YAML file. Multiple segments. So it can be one single YAML structure, or there can be a multiple YAML structure within a single file. So if you have a single or multiple, you can start, by convention is a good practice to start with a dash 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 to indicate that it's a YAML file with multiple segments. And you are defining with a hash. Hash means there is a comment. This is a simple playbook with a single play. So we are having only one play. Like in our diagram, a playbook can have one play. There is no problem. But a playbook can have multiple plays. So here, let's see what is inside a playbook with a single play or a simple play. So you are defining the name of the playbook, name of the play, and the hosts. These are the hosts. So you cannot mention host. You cannot say. You cannot say. You cannot say this is the key for the JSON. You cannot say host. You have to mention hosts because that is the keyword. That is the key. So this entire structure, this entire thing is a JSON way of indicating your data. You are mentioning the data as a JSON format, in a JSON format, in a YAML template. This is a YAML file. Because there is a certain indentation that you have to follow. So these are the various keys that should come in the same level. These are the keys. And these are the values. This is also a key. So whichever I marked with a violet ink is a key, and whichever I'm marking with a uh, marking with a blue tick is a value. This is a value. This is a multiple value. Okay, multiple value. So what we are doing here is, if I try to understand this, is we are saying what is the name of the play? The name of the play is a simple play. This play will be displayed when we execute this playbook. We will see the next day. Okay. And the host means which is the server or which is the host that you are going to connect to. This information, can anybody tell me where this information is coming from? From which file? There is some file where I have mentioned this with some IP address. What is that file that my playbook will try to access? What is that file called? Where I have that IP address information, where it has to connect as a host to deploy some job or to do some tasks. This is coming from anybody? This is coming from which file? Will I say this is module? No. Will I say this is coming from the inventory file, whether it's a host file or some other customized inventory name? This is the inventory file. So this information is stored in inventory file. So in the inventory file, we will have this, the name of that server which you want to connect with, along with the IP address. We will see that. Is that clear? The user is the key. And what is the user? The user is some remote user. You may name it some Ubuntu or root. Some user that you other Linux user that you have created. Become, yes, you will take a role. You will take the role of whatever the policy has been assigned with Ubuntu has been, you will become that. Become method. So if you are a user having a sudo privilege, you will use a become method. You will use that particular privilege. So that remote user can also become a user root with a sudo privilege. So you are making all these instructions. You are giving these instructions to Ansible. So whenever you are connecting to this particular host, you are connecting with a user, and that user can be a remote user by the name Ubuntu or whatever, and that is having, it can be Debasis as well. If Debasis user has been already created onto this particular host. And you can, if you have already been created with a sudo privilege, you will use that method. And with that sudo privilege, you will be assuming a role. You can become a root user. That means you are a super user. And that is my configuration. That is what I want to do. And what is the task? The name of the task is the first task. What is the service? Service. So can anybody tell me what is this? What is this? What are you calling this? Like you have said that this is the inventory. Then what is this? You are calling a? What is this? Anyone? Give it a wild try. This is nothing but you are trying to install a software called HTTPD, which is nothing but Apache. Okay. And enabled equal to true means your service will create this HTTPD or install this particular software, which is Apache, and enable it. Enable it. Enable it means next time the server is booted, the server will automatically run the Apache web server. You do not need to again and again restart it or start it. So the second task is another task. What you are doing, you are enabling, you are going for SSHD. So that is a service. That is a service which is making that you are making this service enabled. That means always you are making it run. So this now my question was, you are giving this key and value. That's all. What is this service about? What is this service? What is this called in Ansible terms? If instead of service, if I had given APT and then say name equal to HTTPD. So HTTPD because we are using a server which is the remote, this manage host example. This is a Red Hat server, let's say. So a Red Hat server will understand HTTPD as an Apache. And we will say state latest. So what does this mean? This means I'm trying to use the APT something and to install Apache server with the latest version. So what this APT? What is this APT? What is that I'm calling? Anyone? That is my last question for today. Or this service? What is this called? These are nothing but called module. You are calling a APT module. You are calling a service module. You are calling a service module. There could have been a command module. Command. CMAND. This is nothing but a shell script. So in that you could have executed a shell command like echo welcome to Ansible. So simple echo command of shell. So what is this command? Command is nothing but a module. Command is nothing but a module. With this help of module, you are calling Ansible to call this module, and with that module, command module, you are executing a shell script called or shell command called echo welcome to Ansible. So welcome to Ansible will be printed on the console. Are you getting me? The essence. Any question? I will stop the session today over here. Okay. And we will continue from the next this one. So that's fine. I will go back and stop my camera. Stop sharing the screen and stopping the recording.
So thank you, Mr. Devashish, for today's call.
Thank you. Thank
So
you.
before we wrap up, guys, if you have any question, feel free to ask. Uh, we are at the very end of today's session, and I think many of you guys joined first time today's session. Feel free to ask any question if it is a DevOps, cybersecurity, AI, about our free classes or about our job ready paid classes. We are happy to answer those questions. I think all everyone have their question well answered before. So thank you everyone. See you next weekend. And our next cybersecurity and DevOps classes, two different job ready training is going to start from next Friday. Both will be the evening batch. Morning batch is going to start in next month. So if you are interested, feel free to ping. We are going to update all of our upcoming events in the groups and our another free sessions. And it will be a very interesting and very powerful. That is a free AI internship program that I think that will consist of 4 or 5 weekend, uh, most probably Friday evening, because that is the only availability we have. So feel free to ping us, and we are going to update very soon about those free classes and paid classes in the group. Okay then, uh, take care and have a thank you, Mr. Devashish.
Thank you, everyone.
All right, thank you, Mr. Devashish. Mr. Mana.
Yeah. Yes.